Alright, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Dom in Space. Today has been quite a few days of time, Kerbal time and my time, in between recording episodes. Last episode we went to Minmus, if I'm not mistaken, and in between I have done a little bit of maintenance around, added a few things here and there. But first, like I said, we were going to do last time, we are going to go to the moon rover, and I'm going to show you kind of everything that's in here. So, like I told you, we're going to also do a little bit of a cruise around. I've actually kept some of the debris on this hunk of rock out here, just to kind of show you guys what it took me to get to where I'm at. Oh man, you can't see it anymore. Darn it. Well, anyways, this is the landing site. There's this double crater right here. If you can kind of see it, it's right over that horizon. There it is. There's the double crater. And there it is. There's the moon rover. There it is. Let's see if I can do that. And I can't find it anywhere. Well, anyways, it's way up here somewhere or over here. One of those two. But that's originally where I had landed with this rover. I got rid of, and the debris is just kind of what helped it get to the surface without crashing. I had to drive this thing all the way down and into the crater, which was not very fun to do at all, because when this thing gets going too fast, it tends to tumble. So we're gonna go ahead and switch over to Mr. Timon here. And he's going to get in my rover, and we're going to go ahead and just do a little bit of joyriding today. Boop. Awesome. Board. Awesome. Okay, yeah, so this is kind of the reason why, I want to take the brakes off. I brought this here just kind of as a nice little transport for, our moon expeditions. One of the cool parts about this rover is that it basically runs by itself, more or less. As you can tell right now, we're heading at 9 meters per second. I'm actually not pushing any buttons, it's just going that speed. So, cool. Actually, no, we're not. Now we're going 2.5, and we're kind of going, but either way, you don't have to keep on pushing forward or whatever, it keeps on going. Sorry, I had a target acquired. Whoa! Doing donuts on the moon. Whoa, boy. Donuts on the moon. Come on. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's totally going to be the YouTube episode name. Donuts on the moon. Cool. But yeah, so the real reasoning why I really brought this rover to the moon to begin with is to bring this guy around. So we don't actually need to kind of land in different spots. I thought that was a really good idea, and then I figured out how hard it was to actually drive this thing from point A to point B without it tumbling over or anything. So I'm kind of scrapping that idea for now until I can figure out a better way of moving Timon here, who basically permanently lives on the surface of this planet. So we have to make a big choice in the near future, whether to make a new rover or a new base, moon base, and somehow get Timon to it, or let's see if I can get off this thing. Leave seat. Awesome. Cool. Either give him a new ride, or bring him to a new base, or bring him home. That would probably be the only few things I would do here. Let's keep that. Let's go back to you and put the brakes on permanently. Awesome. And basically, yeah, it wasn't thought out very well. I didn't know that this car here would kind of suck. For lack of a better word. So, we are going to go back to the Space Center, and I'm going to show you what I've been working on in between the last episode and this one. And it's up at the space station. Here we are. Let's go ahead and fly on that mission. Cool. Okay, so as you can tell, the space station looks a lot different. It's got a lot of extra stuff attached to it. This is from, let's take a look here. I wonder if we can do that. There we are. You know what? I think it'll be easier if I just bring Jeb out. Let's go ahead and just push space. Or let's go ahead and get out here. Cool. So basically from this point, where Jeb's head is down, is the original parts of the space station, what we did in a previous episode. And from this point up is all new stuff. And all this stuff has a purpose. The first purpose of this part right here, which is the first part I've delivered, this was just attached to it, kind of was the lift vehicle, if you may. There is a core in here, one of those probe cores in the center. And there's also 6 docking points, one of which is used for the crew, the hitchhiker tank here, so we can hold up to 4 crew members. And then there's 4 on the adjacent ones around in this horizontal area here. And then there's one at the top, which currently has the lift vehicle attached to it. That was one flight, this center part. Over the next few episodes, I will be, or maybe even between this episode and the next one, I will be doing a little bit of maintenance work with this as well, kind of preparing it for future endeavors in future episodes. So, whoop. Anyways, this thing right here is what I call my tanker. I brought this up, and this is actually completely full of resources, of fuel. And this tank right here has enough fuel in it for 2 of the largest of the smaller rockets, which we'll get to in the vehicle assembly building really soon. So basically what I'm going to be doing is bringing fuel up to the space station here, whether it be RCS fuel or rocket fuel, and fueling vehicles for further expeditions, so that we don't need to worry about leaving the surface of this Earth if we want to go to, for example, a manned flight to Duna. That would be really fun. So basically, you'll be using a lot less fuel to get there, and a lot less fuel to, or even a lot less time when it comes to you guys watching, at least. So not only will I'll just start the missions from the space station here, I'll also have the rocket fueled and everything along those lines before you guys end up watching. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and get him inside. Let's see if we can figure out how we can get him back in. It's dark, I'm sorry. F, push F, wrong button. Awesome. I'll get inside, cool. Like I said, this is completely full, 720. I just use the liquid fuel number. The oxidizer is, yes, of course, it's important, but they expend at the same rate. There's a little bit left in this tank, not really much at all. It was just barely enough to get me into a proper orbit so that I can intersect the space station here. And all of these should be relatively full. All of these tanks here and these ones are empty-ish by right around now, because I just need to kind of empty them around. Once this is empty, I will kind of take it off of the space station here, or I will leave it on there for just storage of fuel if I don't need any more. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. And I'm going to bring you into the hangar. This is going to be a really talky episode. We're not going to get too much done. I just want to show you guys what I was doing in between episodes. It was actually kind of tedious work. Oh yeah, what am I doing? Load. Okay. Let's see. Fuel depot. This is the rocket I sent up that has had that pod in it, and as you can tell, this is a very simple design, just enough to get me into space really, and be able to dock with that, dock with the space station there. So that's what I brought up. So we're gonna go ahead and jump over to, where is it? I think it's called Tanker. There it is, Tanker. This is I think the current, yes, this is the current design for bringing this fuel up into orbit without using it. It's very simple, of course, and there's probably better ways of doing it, but this is just kind of the way I forced myself into it. I did have a lot of other designs. For example, this is the first version. I thought that I would be able to bring this much fuel up and have a second stage, stuff along those lines. Didn't work out too well. It actually almost worked perfectly. I just kind of gave up on it and like, you know what, I don't need that much fuel anyways. So the reason why I wanted to bring you guys in here is to show you kind of what what I'm actually bringing up. So this booster right here, these small boosters, so let's get a new project, run in here. These boosters will hold 360 liquid fuel, whereas these fuel tanks, sorry, I'm using the word fuel tanks, holds double the amount as this one. So one of these right here equals 2 of these. Awesome. And the amount of science that I have just bought gave me a brand new part, which I'm going to be using a lot, and it is this rocket right here. It's called the atomic rocket motor. The reason why is because I'm going to be using it for transfers between space areas. So the reason why you want to use this specific rocket is, yes, it's very expensive on weight, and it could potentially be expensive in the future on cost when it comes to those cost figures. But each one of these rockets has, I think it's more than double the efficiency of any of the other rockets that are currently available. So that basically has twice the thrust for the same fuel cost, or half the fuel cost for the same amount of thrust, kind of thing. So it's really nice in getting you from place to place in the solar system, and that only works in a vacuum, as you can see in the chart on the left hand side. So ISP at sea level, basically it is your fuel consumption at sea level is 220, but in a vacuum it's 800, whereas all of these other ones, yes, of course, they improve slightly. For example, our main rocket that I've been using recently is ISP at sea level 320 and 370 in a vacuum. So this is not a good rocket to get us off the ground, number one, because it weighs twice as much almost as our standard rockets, but it is great for pushing you guys around in orbit or out of an atmosphere, so it's great. Okay, so that's basically what I've been doing. I'm going to, in between episodes, I do apologize, this is more of a talky episode, and Donuts in Space. Donuts on the Moon is a really cool title. I know it probably dragged you guys into this episode. But in between, I'm going to be designing basically a way to bring an empty double fuel canister into orbit and one of these rockets, and be able to attach whatever kind of module to the top that we need basically pushed from one place to another. And that should be able to get us to any place in the solar system. And I do plan on building more of those fuel depots in the future, and even using the fuel that we get in those fuel depots to push around basically more space stations and more launch posts and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a solar system full of useful basically docking stations. So it's going to be great. I'm so excited. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.